We've known for a long time that certain people are capable of talking out of their arses. So breathing out of them just seems like a natural extension. What's up, you scholars of enlightenment? We've known for a long time that certain people are capable of talking out of their arses.
How dare you?
I've seen you do it repeatedly, Pierce.
But now a new study by Japanese scientists suggests that mice, rats, and possibly even humans might be able to breathe through a pipe sticking out of their arses. Now, that all sounds horrifyingly deviant. But believe it or not, these researchers led by Dr. Takanori Takebe seriously showed that when some mice, rats and pigs are dangerously deprived of air, an enema of oxygen-carrying liquid can rescue them from death. In other words, it seems like a genuine solution to severe breathing difficulties might be to get rat-arsed.
Have some chicken. Have a bit of chicken. Have a bit of chicken.
Now, believe it or not, the researchers in this case were inspired by the many creatures in the animal kingdom that already absorb oxygen into their bodies through their rear ends. Fish called loaches use their gills to take oxygen from the water, as most fish do. However, when they find themselves in oxygen-depleted waters, or waters overcrowded by other creatures competing for oxygen, they can also pop their heads above the surface for a gulp of air. Since loaches don't have lungs, the air they swallow travels through their digestive tract, where the intestines absorb the oxygen that they need. Turtles also spend the winter sitting on the bottom of ponds, never coming up for air, and survive by taking oxygen from the water through their backsides.
Straight in the butt crack.
Now that's all well and good, but how can we extend that to mammals? Because, of course, the intestines of mammals are not primarily used for breathing. Most oxygen passes into the bloodstream through the thin, moist, high surface area alveoli of the lungs. However, given that the colon or small intestine is also a thin-walled, high surface area, moist, high blood flow organ designed to absorb small molecules like water into the blood, there's no reason that a small molecule like oxygen can't be absorbed into the blood through the colon wall as well, at least to some extent.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
Indeed, it's actually entirely normal for gastrointestinal tracts to absorb gases. Doctors can even diagnose illness by detecting the gases produced by gut-dwelling bacteria on a person's breath. These gases must have passed from the intestines into the blood before passing from the blood into the lungs and being breathed out. So at some point, the intestines absorbed gases into the blood. Given these realizations, the Japanese researchers set out to see if a mammal's intestines could absorb a significant amount of oxygen. And they started where any self-respecting biologist would, by pumping oxygen gas up the rectums of anaesthetized, oxygen-deprived mice. Classy, morally unambiguous. Oh, Japan.
Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare!
What they found was that this procedure helped the mice survive longer in the oxygen-deprived environment. But it worked best when the researchers scraped the intestinal wall to thin it, making this method not very appealing for treating sick human patients, unless you want your intestinal tract scraped thin, a procedure which I'm sure is offered in Hollywood. So in summary, the researchers started by anaesthetizing and suffocating to death a load of mice, and they found that the mice died more slowly when they had a backside that was ventilated with oxygen.
No winners this time on Takeshi's Castle.
So, mixed results, I'm sure we can all agree. Next, the researchers tried delivering oxygen in liquid form. They added oxygen to a perfluorochemical, a compound that has an incredible capacity to absorb gases. In previous clinical studies, perfluorocarbons carrying dissolved oxygen have been administered directly into human eyes, as well as to the airways of premature infants to help reduce lung injuries. Perfluorochemicals were even tested as a kind of artificial blood in the early 2000s. The scientists squirted this oxygen-packed liquid into the rectums of mice and pigs, and they found that when the animals were dangerously deprived of oxygen, the procedure boosted their blood oxygen levels. The mice started walking around again, and the pale skin of anaesthetised pigs turned back to a healthy pink. So by filling pig butts with oxygen-rich liquid, they managed not to be able to suffocate pigs.
It's time to off the pigs.
Can't do that.
Tell me why.
By the way, for me, the pictures in this paper don't quite get across the ethos of this experiment. So here are the pigs looking like they're at some sort of Mexican poolside bar enjoying a cocktail. But really, they're anaesthetised, bound, gagged, slowly suffocating, and enjoying a life-saving oxygen-rich enema. Did Jeffrey Epstein own a farm? But beyond the potential horrible moral implications of this study, why should we care? Well, it's clearly true that creatures like mice, pigs and humans tend to absorb oxygen into their body through their lungs. But when lung absorption is hindered by lung diseases or viruses like COVID-19, and insufficient mechanical ventilators are available, for example, in a pandemic, a novel form of blood oxygen absorption can be very useful. Put more bluntly, when we can't get oxygen into the lungs of patients safely, we have to use the tradesman's entrance.
Well, you know what they say, one up the bum, no harm done.
Given the health implications of the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Takebe and his team hope to push forward with this research and start human trials as early as next year. So put your consent down in the comment section, I guess.
I'm not going to invest and I'm out.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Takebe has even gone so far as to found a tech startup called EVA Therapeutics Inc., where EVA doesn't stand for extravehicular activity, unless that extravehicular activity is having a pipe rammed up your arse, but rather enteral ventilation via anus.
I'm not going to invest and I'm out.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing EVA, much like GameStop, being shot to the moon.